welcome to the special episode of the Chiefs. And with us right now are Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, Lucy Cruz Valdez, the head of News 5, and in a while, Robbie Alampay of One News will be coming online. Good evening and happy weekend.
Good evening. Malapit-lapit na week.
Napansin mo ba? Christmas colors tayo.
Oo nga, Christmas.
Kayong dalawa.
Kahit pa paano, masaya yung kulay.
Dapat nag-gold.
Akin na pa yung topic natin ngayon, no? In the previous weeks kasi we've been worrying about virtual classes. Now we're also worrying about virtual weddings.
Oo nga. Interesting.
June bright. Patapos na pala. July na pala.
July na.
Tapos na, wedding month.
Diba? Although it does wanna make you ask, parang wouldn't couples want to defer their wedding by a few months just so they have a regular wedding? Weird naman na nasa cellphone yung mga tao. Basta nag-aido kayo.
Sa ilang taong ka ng kasal. Put yourself in the shoes of a man who's about to get married to his bride and tapos biglang na-postpone. Medyo masaklap yun, diba?
Okay, let me put it this way. Do the women want to have a virtual wedding, or would they want to have the dream wedding that's a stereotype dream wedding that a lot of people would want to have, yung as in nakabongga lahat, tabi-sabis, and you have flowers, you have doves flying around, and you have load lang kailangan mo.
Memorable kung ngayon ikakasal, di ba? Parang yung ibang mga nanganganak during the pandemic, dumadami daw yung pinapangalanan ng COVID-a. Ewan ko.
Ano ba naman?
Ewan ko kung totoo. Well, may ganung report earlier in the
Well, that's better than pandemika.
But may mga ganun talagang tao kasi after 9/11 naka-interview ko ng isang pamilya sa Tarlac, pinangalan nila yung anak nila na Bin Laden.
Oh, kaya nga eh.
May mga ganun talaga. Pilipino pa to, hindi man lang Pakistani o Afghan Pilipino to. Anong connection mo? Taga-Tarlac ka pa.
Di interesting kayo. Di pasok na natin siguro yung guest natin.
Sige. Okay, let's bring in our guest. It is Dean Soledad Diriquito Mawis.
Yes.
Dean Soledad Diriquito Mawis is an expert on family law and the Dean of the Lyceum of the Philippines.
Yes.
Dean Mawis, good evening and thank you po for joining us.
Good evening po.
Hi, attorney.
Hi, Robbie. How are you?
Dean, I don't know if you could hear what we were talking about kanina. There's this proposal in Congress. I think it's RA 7042 to allow virtual weddings. Thankfully naman, hindi naman kailangan na virtual din yung mag-aasawa. Nung una kasi akala ko pati mag-aasawa magkahiwalay eh. Hindi naman pala ganoon. Yung officiating or solemnizing officer lang tsaka yung guests and witnesses yung naka-virtual, pero nasa isang lugar pa rin yung mag-aasawa. Dapat naman kasi, di ba? I mean, yung pwede sabihin social distancing, mag-aasawa nga sila eh. But I'm wondering, is there really a need to amend the family code or to amend any law? And is there really a need to put this in place?
Yes, there is a need to amend to allow virtual weddings. No? Kasi ang virtual weddings is not a place. There is no legal place in contemplation of law. We have to amend actually Article 3, of the Family Code in relation to that Article 8 also of the Family Code. Because in the Family Code, Article 3, it says that a marriage ceremony which takes place with the appearance of the contracting parties before the solemnizing officer and their personal declaration that they take each other as husband and wife in the presence of not less than 2 witnesses of legal age. In relation to that, merong Article 8, and that is the marriage shall be solemnized publicly in the chambers of the judge or in open court, in the church, chapel, or temple, or in the office of the consul general or vice consul as the case may be, and not elsewhere, except in marriages contracted at the point of death, yung tinatawag nating marriage in articulum mortis or in remote places, or where both of the parties request a solemnizing officer in writing, in which case the marriage may be solemnized at a house or place designated by them in a sworn statement. So it is very clear from the law that the formal aspect of marriage, and that is the ceremony itself, must be conducted or fulfilled in a physical location. And the internet, as I said earlier, is not a place or a
Okay.
can be
Mm.
Attorney,
Attorney,
bakit ganun ka-detalye yung yung law? I mean, bakit ganun ka-specific? Meron pa marami pang
sabi,
fake na, dahil ba yun
sabi,
marami bang fake? Maraming
sasabihin ko nga, Attorney, pagka pala, sasabihin ko nga, pagka pala abogado nag-define ng marriage, talagang nawawala lahat ng romansa, no? Parang contracting parties. Ang dami-dami.
Parang kontrata talaga. It is a contract.
You really call up marriage being a piece of paper.
But at the end of the day,
Bakit ganon? Bakit?
kasi may requirements kasi ang batas, meron tayong tinatawag. Para maging valid ang marriage, may
Yeah.
essential requisites at formal requisites. So pati yung formal requisites, saan ka kinasal, sino ang magkakasal sa'yo, yan, depende yan sa batas ng lugar kung saan ka kinasal. You know, for example lang ho, ang tanong is, kunwari nasa Amerika, meron silang batas sa Amerika allowing online marriages. Valid ba yun dito sa Pilipinas? The answer is yes, because that's just a formal requisite, and the formal requisite pursuant to Article 17 of the Civil Code will have to be governed by the place where the marriage was contracted.
Yeah, Attorney, I just wanted to ask if you make a distinction between online and then online, of course, specifically refers to this platform, but you
Yeah.
separate that from the concept of remote. I mean,
Yeah.
has the concept of remote never been contemplated by the law? Just as an exercise, I can imagine paano kung yung OFW ikakasal, pagkatapos for some reason hindi siya nakauwi, na-strand siya. Then has this never been contemplated, or has this never been applied even prior to the internet?
The only concept of remoteness, okay, as recognized by the family code, was made in relation to the issuance of a marriage license, not with respect to the formal requisites of marriage, at ito yung pagkakasal. Hindi yan na-contemplate. Nung panahon kasi na to, hindi naman siguro naisip na posibleng mangyari to. Yeah. Kaya there is really a need to amend the law in order to make that kind of wedding valid in the Philippines. Kasi
But maybe that brings us to something that, I think even basic layman and pati ako, what's the difference? If you get a marriage license, anong pagkakaiba nun sa pagkakasal?
Okay, ang marriage license kasi is a license given by this is the way the government or the state, participates in the marriage. When the state issues a marriage license, technically, ang sinasabi, you have the legal capacity to contract marriage. It is only for legal capacity.
I see. Okay. License lang. Okay.
License.
Parang lisensya ng kotse. Lisensya pagmamaneho. Pwede ka magmaneho, pero pwedeng hindi ka nagmamaneho.
Kasi ang mahirap sa konsepto ng kinakasal ka via the internet, saan ka kinasal?
Okay. But you're saying the law has contemplated that. In fact, there has been a practical application of that
Only
with regards to applying for a license.
Marriage license.
Not necessarily for consummate. Okay, sige.
Yes.
Attorney, you mentioned meron sa US. Ano yung batas na for allowing online marriage?
I used it actually as an example. Let's assume that there is in the US, magiging valid ba yun?
Wala pa no?
So
Wala
worldwide,
wala. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala pa.
Wala pa yung pagkakataon.
At attorney, di ba prerequisite din for a marriage to be consummated through sex? So, paano yung mag-virtual? Wala namang virtual.
Okay. Yung pong pagkakaroon ng sexual relations, hindi po yan isa sa essential requisite of marriage or even formal requisite of marriage. In fact, hindi kayo magkaanak, okay, dahil hindi nagbunga, no? That will not render the marriage void. But there is one case, and this is the case of, there's one case decided Chimichoy, I remember now, it is Republic versus Chimichoy. Yun ho, kinasal silang dalawa, but it was not consummated for how many years? If I'm not mistaken, 3 years. Na-declare hong null and void yon on the ground of psychological incapacity.
Mm.
Person is not a ground.
Was
Ang
Yeah.
click niya, inano ho siyang psychological incapacity po.
Ayun. Kaya ang sinasabi po ni Congressman Salo, ang importante lang naman daw ay yung essence, no? Yung essence daw ng pagpapakasal. Di ba? So kung essence nga naman, hindi kailangan nandun hindi kailangan nandun si priest or si pastor during the wedding ceremony itself, right? Ang tanong ko lang doon, sa dami ng mga fake video ngayon, at meron pa nung tinatawag na deep fake, where you can actually dub the statements of, say, President Obama on his own video and make it look like he actually said something that he did not. Hindi ba kaya mag-give rise ito sa mga fake videos ng mga weddings, which will later become the basis for katakot-takot na.
Ang tawag diyan Lucy, Lucy ang tawag diyan virtual pikot. Virtual pikot ang tawag diyan.
Yes, really. Hindi ko kayo magpagulo ng ganon. Kasi di ba, ang dali kaya mag-fake. Si Cynthia Villar na kanina, di ba, may fake picture ng, of course, that's just a photo, no? But
Bad photoshopping pa naman.
Para walang scanning.
That is very important. I think that's a very good observation because the reason why it's done publicly in the presence of the solemnizing officer, because the solemnizing officer will be able to attest that the consent of the contracting parties was really given.
yes.
Sa virtual nga, hindi mo nga alam, baka mamaya tinututukan na pala yan sa likod, no? Hindi mo alam. So, yun, no? But with the requirement of public presence or personal presence before the solemnizing officer, at least makikita mo yung consent magiging freely given kung at least at the very least in front of the solemnizing officer.
Right.
Saka attorney, hindi ba may requirement before a wedding na ipopost yung merong di ba? Merong notice na kasal.
Para kung may tututol.
Baka yung one of the bride or the groom, baka may dati ng asawa, hindi ba? Paano gagawin kung online?
For the purpose of issuance huyaan ng marriage license. Na dapat magkaroon muna ng marriage license bago ikasal, no? So the marriage license will have to be issued and the marriage license will be issued if you comply with all the requirements. At isang requirement dyan, yung tinatawag na natin yung CENOMAR, no? Certificate of Non-Marriage.
Pero din wala ba sa ceremony mismo yung nakikita na sa pelikula na kung meron ditong tutol sa kasal, ngayon ka na magsalita.
Yes, pwede naman.
I mean, is that standard or is it
Notice yun.
Yes. But
Di ba may notice?
May notice, pwede ka mag-object even before the kasal when precisely you're being asked you're what you call this, you're applying for a marriage license or
no din I mean during the wedding itself.
Yes, you can also object. You can also object. Stop the objection.
Pero di ba, attorney, pagka-judge, pwedeng dalawa lang yung witness, tapos yung bride and groom lang, tsaka yung judge, di ba?
Opo, sa batas ho, talaga yung talaga, ang witnesses lang dalawa.
Yes.
Not less than 2 witnesses of legal age. Madalas sabihin, pagka ho, 10 na yung sets of ninong-ninang, ano na yun?
Fundraising na yan.
Fundraising na.
pero attorney, di ba? Yun naman ang advantage kung virtual. Sa virtual, at dami mong witness. Libo-libo kung talagang sikat ka, ang daming pwede. But I want to go back to the concept of venue. Why is venue so important? Is it just a matter of knowing the jurisdiction of where your marriage took place? Why is venue so integral to to the
Okay, venue,
institution.
to my mind, venue is very important because number one, it will affect, of course, the solemnizing officer will be able to see whether the contracting parties have given their consent freely and voluntarily.
Okay.
Secondly, for purposes of jurisdiction, like for example, okay, kunwari ho, yung consul pumunta dito sa Pilipinas, under the family code, pwede nga siya magkasal, pero dun sa stasyon ho niya, no? Between Philippines, umuwi siya dito. Wala technically siyang authority na magkasal. Well, of course, there's an exception that if one or both of the parties believe in good faith that the solemnizing officer has authority, then the marriage is valid. But ang point lang ho kasi ng kailangan na merong lugar kung saan sila kinasal. Pwede kasi mismo saan pwede siya ikasal, no? Yun lang yung problema because the internet is not a space. There should be communication. Yun lang yung sinasabi so that people can go there, the solemnizing officer, the witnesses, at saka ho yung contracting parties.
So, what pursuing that question on the venue? Halimbawa, yung ano, maapektuhan din yun if you want a divorce, di ba? Kasama po yun sa kasi tayo na lang ang walang divorce no?
Ma'am, if the
that's another importance ba of specifying the venue of the wedding.
not
The jurisdiction, basically.
It has no impact because when you speak of divorce, no? Okay, parang ganito, kung sa Amerika ho kayo kinasal, pareho ho kayong Pilipino, doon may divorce, dito ho wala. Ibig po bang sabihin pwedeng na magdiborsyo? The answer po is no. Because when it comes to family rights, duties, your status, it will be defined by your nationality law and that is Philippine law. So kung kahit sa Amerika po, doon ako nagpakasal, pero dahil ako'y Pilipino, sa Pilipinas wala hong divorce law, hindi ho ako pwedeng mag-divorce.
Ganon.
That's
Kasi
the way it works.
kung saan kayo ikinasal, that goes into the form and solemnities of marriage. But when you talk about the essential, your family rights, status, and duty, nasa Article 15 naman ho yan ng City Code, ang basihan ho natin is nationality law. Yun naman.
Attorney, ang tanong ko, no, if you were to craft a bill, no, and I suppose you've read the bill of Congressman Salo, how can you craft it so that it stays within the constitutional requirements and still remain acceptable?
Okay, to begin with, do we need that? That is my first question. Because if we're talking about social distancing, so you have the judge, you have two contracting parties, and two witnesses. Isama ho nyo siguro yung parents. Okay? So you have at max will be 1, 2, 5, to 9. You can very well observe social distancing. Now, if you want other people to watch it, di okay lang ho, stream na lang ho natin sa Facebook.
Right.
Una kong tanong ho is there really a need? You can, in fact, you can even request, in writing that it be conducted in your house. If ang kakasal naman po ay, let's say, ay mayor o kaya ho sa judge, pwede naman ho, lalo na ho yung mayor, pwede naman ho lumabas ho yan sa opisina. Sabi nga ho sa isang kaso, kung hindi naman dyan sa jurisdiction, it is an irregularity, but it will not void the marriage. Because it is irregularity kung saan physically kinasal tapos yung pala nasa labas. So yun ho yung una kong tanong, is there really a need to amend? No. There is a need to amend. Ako, I think the physical presence pa rin ho kasi yung dalawa at saka man lang yung solemnizing officer. Kasi kailangan makita ho ng solemnizing officer that these people are given their consent really. Different when you're not in front of the solemnizing officer. And then you have your witnesses. But again, the reason why you have witnesses is precisely for the witnesses to see for themselves. These people are giving their consent freely and voluntarily.
Yeah, but bottom line, attorney, is there will still have to be a minimum requirement and a minimum condition for people to gather, whether it's 2 people or 3 people or 5 people.
Yes,
So
sir.
I think this bill was considered because, or somebody thought of this because they're looking at the abnormal situation right now, and
Yes.
literally people can't go out. But
Yes.
even when people can go out, there will still be a certain minimum requirement that you will
Yes.
need, di ba?
Yes,
Yes.
because the problem actually with virtual weddings is how sure are we, like what you pointed out earlier, that it's really them, okay? That
Okay.
it's not another person. Because they need to
Okay.
do
Yeah,
specific-
but attorney, let me turn the question the other way around. Nung ECQ, at the height of ECQ, na talagang stricto, na walang aalis sa bahay, dyan lang kayo, it would really have been impossible,
correct.
given the law. Di ba?
Agree.
Okay.
You really cannot have
Mm.
a marriage solemnized because you're not allowed to go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pero under those
Pero
circumstances,
kung ilang linggo lang naman eh. I mean, kung ilang linggo, ilang buwan lang naman.
I think
What's up you, ano?
na lang.
love can wait.
Eh, ito,
It
attorney, kung,
pro-founder, sabi niya.
If you really love me, you will wait.
Ako
Oh,
hindi
di ba?
ko hindi
Ayun,
ako
oh.
pwede. Anong viable alternative kaya? Yung mga nagmamadali talaga, nagmamadali. Gusto nila ng distance wedding. Ano
Yung
kaya
mga
pwedeng
live-in na.
alternative?
Yung mga live-in na, magkasama na sila sa bahay. Let's say, 4 sila sa bahay, yung dalawa magkasintahan, ikakasal na. Kung yung pari lang ang virtual, yung pari lang ang remote, is that valid?
Not valid. Because
Hindi pa rin.
remote,
Kailangan.
yung
Mhm.
virtual wedding, talagang sa the way the law is crafted
Mhm.
now, hindi ko talaga pwede.
Okay.
Sobra.
Wag nyo na kasi pilitin. Pinipilit nyo kasi. Sinabi na nga ni attorney, hindi pwede.
Hindi kahit live stream, ang dami-daming witness. Nakaka-teleconference nga yung ang dami-daming congressman. Eh di nakikita nila kung totoo yun o hindi.
Actually po, pwede basta may bataso. If that will become a law, then that will be all right. Actually, I don't see, as long as there are safeguards, talagang yung dalawang yun really take each other as husband and wife and they declare it before, witnesses, the solemnizing officer, then we have no problem.
Kung alternative mode siya, attorney, kung alternative mode, kasi baka may lalo yung mga bata, baka gusto nila yung ganyang klaseng wedding. Will you be in favor of that? As an
No.
alternative
I'm
mode?
sorry, but I'm very traditional. I still would like to walk down the aisle, and change my IDs before a solemnizing officer. So,
Attorney, kasi yung mga lalaki yata ang nagtatanong kung pwedeng virtual eh.
mas matipid kasi. No?
Hindi yung mga bata, baka gusto nila yung
Naka-Amerikana tapos naka-shorts sa lalim, di ba?
okay, they're from all over the planet, makakapanood yung mga ganon.
Yeah, they can do that.
Pwede naman eh. Kaya lang dapat nga yung pare tsaka silang dalawa nandun.
Basta yung tatlong yon. And the 2 witnesses.
And the witnesses.
The witnesses, Whiskey 5. I mean, hindi naman yun eh. 5 lang, ang lalayo na dyan. Tig-isa silang kanto ng kwarto.
Pwede.
Basta physical pa rin. Basta physical pa rin.
Oh, tapos tawagin na lang manyanita.
Kapag nanyanita, marami.
Bahay talaga pa yun.
Pwede mo ba?
Yung mag...
Di kumuha ka na lang ay isang simbahan. Kontra tayo. O, di magmasa ka doon. Kung gusto mo lang. Ka na either.
So for the audience, attorney, okay lang sa inyo yung virtual. Basta merong component na the main has to be physical.
Yes, I think if the law will be amended, virtual is okay. As long as I said, I think at least the 3 or the 5 minimum should be together, no? But it will defeat the purpose. You might as well, kinasal na talaga. Siguro, kasi hindi ko maybe because the fact that you cannot be in one place because you can eh. You can, di ba? So, and you will not violate any ECQ or GCQ rules.
Ay, okay.
Social distancing naman eh.
Hindi kailangan magmanyanita eh.
Ang bawal lang ng madami.
Dapat kasi, Joby, meron kang upshot ng scoring na love, won't, left, me will,
Yeah.
now you're oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sige po. Well,
Okay.
that was
So,
that was
so, so hindi
Sige
kailangan
po.
yung batas. Okay, haba-haba ng
Okay.
haba-haba ng usapan. Hindi pala kailangan yung batas.
baka kasi humaba pa yung ECQ nung final yung batas eh. No.
Okay.
Baka nga
So,
baka nga
yung mga,
love cannot wait.
yung mga nagbabalak dyan, alam nyo na, sinabi na ni Atty. Sol, walang pupuntahan yan. Mag-antay na lang kayo, gawin nyo na lang yung totoo. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Dean Soledad Mawis, maraming salamat po for joining us tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we'll just go into a gap, so please stay with us.
Welcome back, the Chiefs, here on One News. We are now in the final stage of our episode tonight. We're talking about a proposal to have virtual marriages. Joining us now is Kabayan Party List Representative Ron Salo. Congressman, welcome po to the Chiefs.
Welcome.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo, magandang gabi po sa lahat po ng nanonood po ngayong gabi.
Good
Kaya
evening.
sir.
Congressman, narinig niyo yung usapan namin with Atty. Sol Mawis.
Yung iba, narinig ko po.
Dapat, let's start with,
Masarap po yung tawanan po ninyo.
yeah, hindi po seryoso kami. Let me ask lang po yung pong tanong ni attorney. Ba't ba kailangan tong batas na to? Bakit niyo po ba naisipan to?
Basically, Robbie, dahil nga rin siguro dito sa nangyayari po sa atin sa pandemya, yun yung isa sa take-off ko nito. But at the same time, makikita rin po natin that the new normal is different exactly from the time na nag-start po itong pandemic na ito. Kagaya po ngayon na in-interview niyo po ako, dati-dati nandyan po ako sa studio but few months after, pwede na po ngayon na nag-uusap po tayo via StreamYard. So, ibig sabihin po nito, yung advances in technology makes us also, yung pamumuhay po natin, nagbabago rin po. And makikita rin po natin na even sa judiciary ngayon, ginagawa na po ito, Congress ginagawa rin po ito. So sa Congress, yung committee hearings na kinakandak araw-araw halos via video conferencing din. Session din po namin, ganun din. Pagdating sa korte, malinaw na rin po yung guidelines ng Supreme Court na pwede na rin po yung video conferencing ang ginagamit. So yung webinar, pati sa inyo ngayon na ginagamit po ninyo, nabanggit po nga kanina, basically this is now the new normal. So I suppose kailangan ding sumabay yung batas po natin related po sa contracting a marriage sapagkat itong batas na po natin would only require or actually requires physical presence ng lahat. Tama po yung binabanggit po kanina ni attorney, ni Dean, na ang minimum requirement are 5 persons actually sa ngayon. Dalawa, yung dalawang ikakasal, yung solemnizing officer, and yung dalawang at least 2 witnesses po nila to be present in order for that particular marriage to be valid. Dito sa pinopropose po natin, ang sinasabi lang natin for as long as the two, yung dalawang ikakasal, present po sila physically together, then pwedeng remote po yung magkakasal po sa kanila, pwedeng remote din yung mga witnesses po nila.
How do you address yung point ni Atty. Mawis na, venue is actually very important, and not just venue, the whole context of everything that's taking place, no? I mean, I don't know kung sino yung nagbanggit kaninang example na it's important na nagkakakitaan tayo, not just that there are witnesses, but we see the full context of what's going on around you. Walang nakatutok na baril sa likod nung isa, for example, and so on. But how do you address the questions that she raised?
Yung primarily nakaangkla yung binabanggit po ni Dean kanina doon sa context na binabanggit po nila dahil kailangan siguraduhin yung voluntariness that the two persons who are getting married should personally declare that they take each other as husbands and wife voluntarily and freely. That's the essence exactly of the marriage ceremony. Ngayon, dito hindi naman natin tinatanggal yung iba pa pong mga requirements ng marriage, particularly yung marriage license. Bago naman po kasi kasal, kailangan mo pong kumuha yung dalawang mag-asawa ng kailang marriage license. So that already shows yung voluntariness po nila. Kasi kung hindi naman po sila nag-apply po doon personally, hindi naman po sila mai-issuehan ng marriage license. Number two, pagdating po doon sa marriage, nandun pa rin po yung mga witnesses po nila, except that pwedeng virtual dito sa pinopropose po natin. Then kailangan pa rin po silang tanungin whether they actually take each other as husband or wife, they have to express their vows to each other, yung commitment po nila. Pangatlo, na hindi po ginagawa sa kasalukuyan, sa ngayon po kasi, kapag kinasal po yung dalawa, ang kailangan lang pumirma silang dalawa, plus yung kanilang, yung solemnizing officer, plus the witnesses, at least dalawa. Then isasabit na po yon sa local civil registrar for registration. Pero dito, dinagdag po natin na bago nila irehistro po yon, kailangan po nilang ipanotaryo sa isang notary public. What does that mean? Kapag pinanotaryo po kasi natin, kailangan ina-attest po natin the due execution of that particular piece of document. And number two, that they actually entered into that particular marriage voluntary.
Pero kung ano po, if I may kung yung marriage license and yung pagnonotaryo, they're not necessarily guaranteed that voluntary yung at nagpresenta yung dalawang magkokontrata kasi 'di ba ang dami nagreklamo na niloko sila o kaya peke yung marriage license nila. Pangalawa, ang dami nagnonotaryo na never nakita ng abogado.
Yes.
I suppose, Ed, yan yung sa practice siguro, yung binabanggit po ninyo. But in legal, ang kailangan nga po talaga, ang sinasabi ng batas, personal din yung application. So, ngayon, kung may nag-violate po doon, then I suppose may karampatang parusa po yun kung di sila nag-apply personally. Number two, yung binabanggit din po ninyo, pagdating po sa notarization, ang requirement din po ng batas at requirement po sa lahat po ng abogado, kailangan personally mag-appear. That's the reason why ako rin po, abogado po ako, nag-notaryo rin po ako. I never notarize any document unless and until I personally see the person who executed that piece of document. So ito yung sinasabi po natin. These are the other safeguards, which this particular notarization is not actually present as of the moment. So ang kailangan lang pumirma yung solemnizing officer. Pero dito sa sinasabi po natin, ang kailangan pa nilang i-attest yung kanilang document na pinirmahan.
Kung mapa-personal appearance rin lang sila sa notaryo or sa ba't hindi na lang sila mag-personal appearance mismo sa wedding? It doesn't make sense na ang pinapa-virtual nyo ay yung mismong seremonya na hindi lang siya legal, kundi meron siya yung tinatawag nyo na essence, no? Doon mo nga makikita. And yet, maglalagay ka ng additional requirement naman na kailangan ng personal appearance sa notary public. So, doesn't that defeat the purpose of a virtual marriage? Kung meron din namang personal risk involved in appearing personally, diba, physically in front of notary public, how is that different from just personally appearing before a priest or an officiating officer? Diba?
Okay. That's a very good question, Ms. Lucci. Pero ang sinasabi po natin dito, we want to give options to the people. Na choice din po yon basically na ikakasal. Kung gusto po nila virtual, then they should be given that particular option. Number two, yung binabanggit po ninyo, particularly ngayon sa pandemic, isa sa mga primary reasons kung bakit na-cancel din po yung mga kasal dahil yung magkakasal ay usually senior citizen po sila. So mas mataas yung risk on your health. Number three, kayong pagnonotaryo, pwede po nilang gawin yon anytime din. So kung kailan sila po pwede, pwede nilang puntahan po yon. But oftentimes kapag sa pagkakasal, kailangan mong siguraduhin that everyone should be present physically as of the moment. Iyon yung po yung batas. Ngayon, yung binabanggit nyo rin po, ano naman exactly, bakit kailangan pa nilang piliin yon? I suppose that should be an option that should be given to the contracting parties, those people who want to wed.
But
Meron
attorney,
kami
Congressman, I think yung concept ng notaryo is interesting to me because at a certain point, the legal process and the legal requirements at a certain point will require a physical appearance, di ba? Sa notaryo, for example, on this date, personally appeared before
Yes.
me. But you can argue that, ba't hindi natin i-virtual ang mga notaryo? Bakit hindi natin, the point is, as you virtualize marriage and as you virtualize every particular, you can imagine a scenario where two people can enter into a marriage without ever having met. They chatted, they met and so on. But the point about the notary public isn't it that precisely at a certain point, you will need physical presence. You need physical appearance. Why not preserve that for marriage? And as Attorney Stoll said, that's no more unreasonable than one person appearing before a notary public and just asking five people to attend a real wedding.
Yung sinasabi ko po kanina pa, Robbie, that should be an option given also to them. Ngayon, yung sinasabi po ninyo na pwede naman nilang gawin, then, well, fine. Kung gusto nilang gawin later on. But what we're presenting to the people is an option. Number two, yung binabanggit din po ninyo, hindi lang naman po ito applicable sa ngayon na dito sa Pilipinas. Ang kino-contemplate din po nito are OFWs also. People outside, Filipinos outside the Philippines, po na halimbawa nakabase po sila doon sa Dubai, for example, and matagal na po sila na gusto na nilang magpakasal. But because of such reasons, halimbawa nito, hindi po natuloy yung kailang pagpapakasal dahil po sa bawal ng pag-travel. Or sometimes, kailangan po nila, gusto nila kasama yung kailang pamilya na nandito sa Pilipinas na magkapag-witness ng kailang kasal. But they cannot travel. So, pwede rin po silang magpakasal virtually. Yung solemnizing officer would just be here in the Philippines. Yung kailang mga kamag-anak, pwede rin present virtually. Silang dalawa, present sila doon.
Congressman, quick question lang because this is a basic question of Attorney Mawis. Bakit ba kailangan to? Doon sa example na binanggit nyo, OFW, I can imagine that happening. But have you done studies? Do you have indicators or even anecdotes na nangyayari yan? Na merong mga gustong ipakasal na OFW at hindi makauwi and therefore they have no option other than just to wait another few months?
Yes, may mga nagsabi po sa atin. Number two, itong proposal po natin na virtual wedding or virtual marriage, hindi po ito novel, quote and unquote, na bago lang na naisip ko po. Kasi existing na rin po ito, even prior to the pandemic, ginagawa na rin po sa ibang bansa.
Yeah, but the minimum requirements are met, no? Meaning,
yes,
yung pare, ito iba Iba kasi yung solemnizing officer na sa ibang lugar. Ako, babalik ako dun sa tanong. Kasi even though you say that this is just an option, you're also opening up the possibility for so many people who have really bad intentions to use this virtual wedding ceremony to falsify something that never really took place or whose essence was really not there. Meaning, yung tawag nga ni Robbie, virtual people. I mean, I have 3 sons. What's to stop somebody who wants to make it appear that my son married her? Diba? You know what I mean? Fake the pictures. This is all very easy to do now. And this has legal implications, not just in terms of the relationship, the legal relationship, but also mana, diba, conjugal or community property, separation of it, etc., etc. Ang dami. Di ba, Kong?
Yes, yes, Ms. Lucci. Yung binabanggit po ninyo kanina ng mga minimum requirements, I completely agree. These are the minimum requirements set by law. And this is precisely the process that we're going through. Kaya ako po pinopropose na i-amend po natin yung minimum requirements na yun. We still stick with certain requirements, conditions, but binabago po natin. The only thing na nagbabago lang naman po dito dahil yung presence, the concept of presence. Kasi sa kasalukuyang batas, ang konsepto po ng presence, physical. Physical lang and no other thing. Ang sinasabi po natin ngayon, kagaya ngayon, nag-uusap po tayo, kine-interview niyo po ako, how could you, yung tanong po ninyo, yung identity, babalik ko rin po sa inyo, how could you be so sure na si Ron Salo yung kausap po ninyo? Di ba? You never asked that. Opo.
Pero hindi rin
So,
sila kanina ni ano eh.
Yeah.
But at the same time, opo.
Pwede ko
That's quality issue.
lalaki, babae, kunyari, nagpapakasal, tapos there's a priest. But actually, fake naman yun. Pwede
Opo.
yun. That's very easy.
Opo.
But it's not
But at the
real.
same time, yung binabanggit po natin kanina, there is still requirements. The marriage license. Kasi hindi naman po sila po pwede ikasal kung wala silang marriage license.
Pwede
number
naman
two,
Yung bill nyo kasama yung marriage license.
ang daming fake na ganyan. Diyan na nagkakagulo yung mga hiwalayan eh. Diba?
yes, ang sinasabi po natin dito, babaguhin natin yung batas. Kung ang reason po natin yung pagiging fake at hindi na po natin ipupursue, I doubt kung ganun nga talaga yung dapat nating pagpasa. Hindi ba dapat i-address natin yung tinatawag po natin na fake? Ano ba yung mga condition, ilalagay natin pa ng mga safeguards? Ngayon, kung magkapagbibigay po kayo ng other safeguards na pwede nating ilagay, so be it. I will greatly appreciate receiving all of those.
No, attorney, kasi on the cyberspace allows fraud. It facilitates fraud in everything, all transactions. You were talking about OFWs na matagal na magkakakilala. Paano yung nag-meet lang online? Diyan pa lang sa meeting online, ang dami-dami na diyang nagkaka-peke-peke yung mga identity. How do you ensure na itong si ganito at si ganito? Tinanong na din namin to kanina which was part of her concern. Paano kung may asawa na pala dati si prospective groom, si prospective bride, hindi pa pala maayos yung previous marriage? Paano yon? How do you ensure na walang fraud, hindi magagamit yung online wedding for fraud?
Yung tanong po ninyo exactly, yung concern po ninyo, ma'am, basically, kare-pareho rin po yan concern ngayon. Yung sinasabi ninyo, paano kung may fake license po siya? Then, it's the same. Ang sinasabi lang po natin, ngayon, physically present,
Diba?
requirement po daw. Apo.
Merong several, I think 2 weeks, no, na notice for people para makapag-object dun sa wedding Di ba? Meron bang ganon sa bill nyo? Paano yung virtual opposition or virtual warning para hindi matuloy ito kung sakasakaling may problema yung wedding na yon, yung couple na yon?
Yung particular matter na yon, ilalagay po natin sa implementing rules and regulations. Ang pinopropose ko lang pong i-amend, the minimum. Ngayon, those particular safeguards, yung binabanggit ko nga rin po kanina, they can be trashed out in the implementing rules and regulations that would be discussed later after the bill becomes law. Or pwede rin po kapag pinag-usapan po ito sa Kongreso, kapag may mga ganong idea na kailangan lang po ilagay sa batas mismo, then we're open to those.
Are you familiar with canon law? May ano ba to? Meron ba kayong link to weddings since we're predominantly Catholic Meron bang, are you tackling weddings in church? Anong magiging impact neto sa church weddings?
Wala po. Kasi basically, ang sinasabi lang po natin, yung legality. Ang sinasabi lang po natin kasi dito, na kapag kinasal po sila virtually, then we should accord that legal effect. Ibig sabihin po noon, hindi po siya null, hindi po siya void. At hindi rin po siya voidable. Ang sinasabi lang po natin, na bigyan natin ng opportunity yung mga tao, then kilalanin natin as legal. Ngayon, kung bawal po sa kanilang pananampalataya, paniniwala, then kinikilala po natin yun. We're not imposing to anyone. Kung bawal po pa rin po sa Catholic Church na mag-adapt po sila ng virtual wedding, kikilalanin po natin yun. This is not an imposition. This is actually, we're just expanding the space and providing opportunities and options to our people, then bahala po sila. Ngayon, kung doon sa magkakasal po sa kanila, okay lang naman. O okay lang naman kay Mayor na virtual yung pag-conduct niya ng wedding sa kanila. Or sa mga pastors, okay lang sa kanila. Then, so be it. It's an option. But hindi, it's never an imposition. Ang sinasabi lang po natin, na kapag kinasal po sila through that particular means na virtual, then that should be accorded legal effect.
Hmm. Anong sentiment sa House of Representatives? Does it have a widespread support? Anong feeling nyo sa mga colleagues ninyo?
Kaka-file lang pa po natin, so hindi ko pa po at ngayon kasalukuyan po recess po kami, pero ongoing yung mga hearing. So basically hindi po ito yung masyadong na tutunan pa ng pansin. Sihinan po natin, pagbalik po namin sa Congress, kasi i-refer po ito sa committee, titingnan po natin kung it will merit the support of the members of the House of Representatives.
Okay, Congressman Ronsalo, we'll just pause for a break now. Don't go away, the chiefs will be back. Welcome back to the Chiefs. We continue our conversation with Kabayan Party List Congressman Ron Salo. Congressman, medyo mag-iba lang ako ng topic kasi marami talagang maiinit na ngayon eh. Magtatawag daw si Presidente, Malacanang is planning to ask for a special session to discuss part 2 of Bayanihan to Heal as One Act. Sa tingin nyo matutuloy ito? Ano sa tingin nyo ang dapat masama doon? Or are you in favor of this? Kasi yung iba sabi, mag-accounting muna ang gobyerno kung paano ginawa yung Bayanihan to Heal as One Phase 1. Anong tingin nyo sa proposal na to?
Sa akin, sinusuportan ko po na magkaroon po ng special session. Anyway, although medyo malapit na rin po yung pagbubukas po ng Kongreso, pero kung magiging mas mapabilis para ipasa po natin itong Bayanihan 2, then we'll definitely support it kung ito'y makakatulong sa mga kababayan po natin. Well, definitely maganda rin po na sinasabi po nila na magkaroon po ng accounting, pero hindi naman po ito hiwalay na usapin. Pwede na naman po natin pinag-uusapan yung Bayanihan 2, but at the same time, nagbibigyan ng accounting po yung mga agencies of the government on how they spent the money that was allotted to them.
Yung stimulus package, sabi ng Department of Finance, wala daw tayong pera eh. Are you supporting that as well? Yung bill to provide a stimulus, economic stimulus?
Opo, kasama po ako doon sa sumuporta po noon. Pinasa po yun sa House of Representatives yung Arise Bill. Although
Yes.
medyo aminin po natin na mataas nga po talaga yung pinupropose po doon na budget. Basically sa akin personally, ang pananaw ko po doon, mas maganda nga po talaga kung mas malaki yung ibibigay na budget ng ating pamahalaan
Congressman,
to support. Opo.
Congressman,
But-
nabanggit niyo yung Arise bill. Did you mention that just now? Yung
Yes,
Arise
yes.
bill. Now, this is separate from the stimulus package, and from what I understand, the Arise bill, which was just passed on third reading, is also basically to try to save some businesses, especially emerging. But is it true that Congressman inserted a provision essentially to suspend the Philippine Competition Council for a period of 6 months to 1 year?
Hindi ako mahaba po yun makakapal po yun. Hindi ko malala exactly specific provision kung mayroon pong nakalagay po na gano'n. Nonetheless, yung Arise Bill po, yun po yung stimulus package na version po ng House of Representatives. But of course, yung Senate din po, may separate po sila. Ito yung Bayanihan 2. And dahil sinasabi po, I understand ng Department of Finance na ito lang yung kakayanin ng ating gobyerno, then I suppose that's the reason why ang pag-uusapan po ng House of Representatives would be the Bayanihan 2.
Yes, but I'm seeing some posts on Facebook right now, and somebody just sent me a copy of the Arise bill. And yung sinasabi nila, I personally have not read it yet. But if it's true that there is a suspension essentially of the PCC, ostensibly to allow, I would presume, bigger businesses to come to the rescue of smaller businesses. But if essentially it will suspend the PCC, are you for that? Even temporarily, 6 months to 1 year?
Yes, personally, kasi ang primary aim naman po natin ngayon is to salvage our economy. Paano po natin
that's the
ma-stimulate
primary,
yung businesses in order for them to start?
Yes, but the primary aim might be very, very different from the ultimate effect. I mean, if you may have the primary aim, aren't you afraid that the ultimate effect is basically for 6 months to 1 year, free for all, for companies to start acquiring other companies, and essentially after 1 year, develop monopolies in certain sectors?
But nonetheless, sa tingin ko po kasi doon, ang unang-una nga natin na objective ngayon is to salvage them. Kung yun yung makakasalba po sa kanila in order for that particular company na mabuhay, and at the same time, yung mga employees po nila na tuloy-tuloy pa rin na magtrabaho, then I'm for it. Then later on, we can always ask.
Okay. I'm sorry, let me
Yes.
just get
At
that.
yun
Let
yung
me
stand
just
ko.
correct you. Your stand is if it takes a monopoly, if it takes the creation of monopolies to save businesses, you're for it.
Yes. Kasi at the end of the day, ang kailangan mo muna ngayon, ano ba yung immediate na pangangailangan ng bawat isa po sa atin ngayon?
Yes, but
We
why
need to
not?
survive.
But why suspend the PCC? Why not just let the market take care of itself? I imagine there are a lot of businesses that can help other smaller businesses or even acquire them. But why suspend the PCC?
Ang lumalabas ng laman dito, PCC yung kalalabasan po natin. And nakita rin naman natin doon sa pre-PCC, I suppose, maayos pa rin naman. Then, pumasok po yung konsepto ng PCC para mas magpagandahin. But
No,
nonetheless,
let me stop you there. Pinasok yung konsepto ng PCC precisely because there were things to fix. Precisely because there were things that needed to be controlled. Hindi pinasok yung, I mean, if I'm reading it correctly, di ba? Kinreate yung PCC, hindi para paigtingin at pagandahin ang mergers and acquisitions. Ginawa ang PCC precisely to regulate these things.
yes, para i-regulate. Ngayon, ang sinasabi po natin, alin ba yung unahin po natin? Bubuhayin yung mga kumpanya at hayaan na at magkaroon ng opportunity yung mga tao na magkapagkakuhanan nila ng kabubuhay nila o i-regulate quote-unquote yung kanilang pagkilos at paggalaw. Sa akin, pupuntahan muna po ako. Yes, Robbie. Sa akin, ito yung sinasabi ko. Ito yung stand ko po. You may disagree with me. But of course, ito rin naman ay pinag-uusapan at alam ko naman na hindi ito pinasa rin ng Senado. Ito yung version ng House of Representatives which we agreed kung nandyan nga po talaga yon. But nonetheless, ang sinasabi ko, personally, ang stand ko, ay hayaan natin na magkaroon ng regeneration yung ekonomiya po natin because this is the most immediate. Kasi anong issue po ng i-regulate natin kung nawala na nga po yung mga i-regulate dahil nangamatay na yung kumpanya?
But isn't that a false dichotomy? Basically saying choose between the PCC or saving the small business. It seems like a false dichotomy because I don't think that that having the PCC there necessarily stops the wealth of so many other businesses from intervening and investing and getting where they think their money can help or make more money. There's nobody saying that. Everybody's just saying that the PCC is there to stop potential abuses from the big fish and the bigger players that could end up creating a monopoly.
At the end of the day, sinasabi mo naman, hindi naman permanent yung suspension. So pagdating naman later on, kapag bumalik na sa normal, then kasama na rin po sila doon, then you can always apply those particular regulations. So
After
it's
1
just
year.
momentary
It might be too late.
in order for you to be able to address the immediate concern.
But by that time, it might be too late, and some
Yeah.
police may have been established. Plus, if you allow that to happen, it actually defeats the purpose because really, with mergers and acquisitions of bigger corporations, baka magkaroon naman ng retrenchment. Yun nga sinasabi ni ng Gabriela, no?
Pero at the same time, yun po yung concern po natin.
Widespread loss of jobs for many. I mean, meron din siyang downside. So,
I
di ba?
completely agree. May downside po siya, mayroon po siyang positive, may pros and cons po siya. But nonetheless, sa akin nga po, ang binabanggit ko po sa inyo, I would support yung stimulus muna ng ekonomiya. Kasi at the end of the day, anong re-regulate po natin kung nangawala na nga po sila. So give them opportunities in order for them to regrow and order for this particular companies to survive as of the moment.
Right?
Okay, Congressman Gonzalo, before we let you go, I understand that you filed the bill earlier this month for a 25-year franchise of ABS-CBN. But in that bill, you also called for a strong set of regulations. Before I go into that, tell us how it's going in the House of Representatives. May papasa anytime soon o mabibigyan at all ng franchise ang ABS-CBN. Do you have a timetable?
So far, ang instruction lang, guidance lang po kasi sa amin, hayaan muna na magkaroon ng hearing fairly and objectively dun sa mga concerns that are being raised against dun sa franchise as well as those dun sa mga four. So yun po yung pinag-uusapan pa lang po ngayon. So basically yung timetable, hindi po ako privy dun sa timetable. Ang sa akin, to participate as much as I can dun sa hearing. Doon sa binabanggit po ninyo na stricter regulations, it's not exactly stricter regulations. I'm just stating the obvious. And for example, stricter implementation of the law. Ayun yung sinasabi po natin. Kasi nakikita po nga po natin, this arises also from the issues na maraming mga allegedly violated yung violations yung ABS-CBN. Kaya sinasabi po natin, then it should be, hindi pwedeng standard ng isang kumpanya o standard ng industriya ang gagamitin. May parameters, may standards na sineset ang DOLE, for example, when it comes to labor laws. Hindi dapat ang susundin natin yung parameters ng sino man, kundi kung ano yung parameters na inadapt po ng batas at ng DOLE, in-implement ng DOLE, which should be made applicable to everyone.
But Kong, you're also calling for a provision, for putting in a provision requiring impartial and balanced reporting, if I read the news article correctly. Now offhand, that sounds like it makes sense. Pero let me ask you, is there anything in the law that requires impartial and balanced reporting by any media company? I mean, is that even in the law? Is that even in the Constitution? I mean, isn't that prior restraint? Can a media organization have a position to begin with? Wouldn't that be a denial of freedom of expression?
But at the same time, you cannot also deny the freedom expression of the government. So it's sinasabi lang po natin dito.
Yes,
and
sir.
this is exactly
And we're not denying government because government has its own propaganda machinery. It has Channel 4, which is paid for by taxpayers' money. It's not even a public. It's not even a public channel. It's a government channel.
So ang sinasabi lang naman po natin, what is so objectionable with having an impartial and balanced reporting?
Yes, sir. And we understand that. But to put it in the law requiring it would presume that there is somebody who will decide what is balanced and impartial, and that would presumably be government. Number two, that's balanced reporting and impartial reporting is something that traditionally we in the media agree amongst ourselves and regulate amongst ourselves. To leave it to a regulating body to decide what is balanced reporting, wouldn't that be prior restraint?
No, exactly. That's the reason why we have libel. And we have seen that with what happened.
Yes, sir.
Di po
Sir,
ba? Itong
libel
batas
is
po
different.
natin ng libel. Ano ba yung
Sir,
specific
if you
na
don't mind,
reason
sir,
po nun?
libel is different from balanced and impartial reporting. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
Libel is different from, for example, in other countries, a media organization can have a political position, and that is not impartial, but that is not libelous. Those are two different concepts.
Yes. Pero ang sinasabi ko po rito, pwede mo pong gamitin po yun as a parameter. So, for example, yung sa libel, sino pong nagpasa po ng batas na yon? It's Congress. So, ibig sabihin po nito, when it comes to yung binabanggit po ninyo, but we can always have, we can always provide certain advice to us in order for us to be able to make that into reality, for example. Pero yung konsepto po ng balancing partial reporting, hindi naman po pwede na kagaya po ngayon, ito rin po yung issue na pinag-uusapan po. Hindi pa pinag-uusapan, pag-uusapan pa lang. Ito po yung isang bagay na pag-uusapan po sa issue ng ABS-CBN. So how do we address that? Alangan naman, kung sinasabi na nga po ng mga tao na hindi partial at imbalance, kanino natin ibibigay? Sa kanila pa rin? Sila pa rin po ang magdidesisyon kung impartial or balance yung kanilang pagre-report? Perhaps we can find
But sir, isn't that the right? Isn't that the right of anybody to have a position, so long as it's not libelous or slanderous? Isn't that the right of anybody, whether on social media or mainstream media, to have a position, to be partial to any position? I mean, if you allow that to anybody in social media, you're saying that you cannot allow it to anybody on mainstream media, so long as it's not libelous or slanderous.
Pero yung binabanggit po natin dito, kung tawag dito, yung sasabi po natin na partial, yung kailang pagbabalita, then it becomes an issue as well. So, ang sinasabi natin dito, kung kayo for the truth, pero kung partial po yun, so ibig sabihin po nun, colored yung truth na yun. So,
Sir,
sinasabi
those are not the same things, sir, if you don't mind. Those are not the same things. To be impartial is not the same as to be partial is not the same as to be untrue. I'm sorry, but those are different things.
In any case, I think, Congressman, the question is, you really believe that you can legislate impartiality? You really believe you can legislate impartiality and fairness without running the risk of government overreaching and basically affecting prior restraint?
And are you really the judge of what's partial and not?
Yes.
Hmm.
Who will
Sa
say
akin po,
impartial? Yan ang
Apo.
problema. See, who will decide what is impartial? Kasi sa libel,
That's
ang
precisely.
malis.
That's precisely the point, yung binabanggit nga po ninyo. So basically, the details. And ang sinasabi ko nga po, we can always have a group, an impartial, quote unquote, not exactly impartial, a group that would be able to come up with that particular rules to determine what is partial, what is impartial, and what's fair.
May
Okay.
May rapi-rapian na. We may have to
Pero
invite you, Congressman,
maraming magandang pag-usapan. Congressman, it's always good to have you on board kasi maraming magandang pag-usapan when you're around. I mean, discussion is always good. I mean, from my point of view, it's always good for us to talk about these things. Otherwise, people don't talk about it, and that's bad.
True.
Hindi kasi partial lang. Hindi kasi impartial lang si Ed.
Bias ba? Bias.
Marketplace of ideas. So everyone has an idea.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Congressman Ron Salo ng Kabayan Party. Sir, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you.
Okay,
Good luck on this part for impartiality.
that's a wrap for tonight. Kaya talaga, overtime na tayo. That's a wrap for tonight. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. That'll be all for this edition of the Chiefs. We hope to discuss here. We'll keep the conversation going. I'm Edling of One News.
I'm Ami Paminton of the Philippine Star.
I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5.
I'm Robbie Alampay and we are One News.